After 21 months, 5 continents visited, and nearly 150 shows, that is a wrap on the Taylor Swift Eras Tour.
Man, I wonder what the wrap party was like, After a show that you, if you've ever been in a play or something, you guys have like a little pizza party or something.
There was no party. Everyone slept for 48 hours
I'm sure
straight.
they did. I'm sure they're still asleep now.
The cardio that they've done over the last couple years and the amount of calories burned by the dancers and Taylor Swift.
Yeah,
Oh my
give
God.
me the Fitbit, the Apple Health statistics.
That would be amazing if one of them had worn that for all the
How
shows.
many steps, how many calories burned from
So.
2 years of Eras
That's
Tour?
insane.
So her last 3 shows in Vancouver, here's what she said before the concert started last night.
We have toured the entire world with this tour. We have had so many adventures. It has been the most exciting, powerful, electrifying, intense, most challenging thing I've ever done in my entire life. We've gotten to perform for over 10 million people on this tour. And tonight, we get to play one last show for you here tonight in beautiful Vancouver.
I was reading about it yesterday. The concert itself has made like a couple $2 billion. Outside of that, the cities collectively that she's visited total have made like $7 billion. Taylor, standing ovation for powering the planet with good times and good vibes.
The power of one person. Isn't
The
that
last
incredible?
couple years, truly a masterpiece.
Seriously.
And I said this a little bit ago, and I said I think going into our show Friday for her last shows. But like what I love about Taylor, there's a lot of things, not just for young women out there and little girls
she's
and
incredible.
whatnot, but the fact that she showed up to every single moment like it was her moment on the tour. She was doing the same thing at concert 147 as she was concert 1.
Right.
And I'm like, man, she is just... And I think you said it earlier, it wasn't just like she stands on stage and does a guitar. Like, there's a lot of different elements to her shows.
Every second of that show is intensely choreographed.
Oh, yes.
I mean, there are no mistakes either. I mean, you can't, or else you're going to fall behind. It is too intense of a show to have any room for mistakes. She goes out and she crushes it every single night. So we have to appreciate her. For 2 years, she provided people hope. Some people, this is just like the only thing they were looking forward to. If I can just make it to this Taylor concert, my life is just like rough right now, but if I can get through 5 months, I can, that's, you can't quantify that, but it's real.
Oh,
the amount
yeah.
of hope that she provided people, the amount of connectivity she provided families, parents trying to connect with their kids. I mean, Taylor Swift was that bridge.
A concert masterpiece. Every time she goes out, her Eras Tour is over. We got Heather and Garner with us right now. Good morning, Heather.
Good morning.
Now, were you able to make it to one of her shows in Europe or somewhere in the United States?
No, unfortunately, cannot do that. But I lived it every single night with my daughter.
Aw.
How?
She is a Taylor Swiftie, like all these young people are. She's 23, but she will look at every live stream there was, from the very first one to that very last one last night. And it was funny on Saturday night when she was, I think, still in Canada. She goes, man, it's the first one I slept through. I said, I'm sure you already know the lines to it and what was going to happen. She goes, no, because every one of them is different in another unique way.
Of course.
Well, and that's what a testimonial. She's literally watched every single one of them.
That's a fan.
And she's saying that. So what was the culture like in your household when Taylor Swift would perform? Would she come over and you guys would get together? How did that work?
Well, it started out as us being together, but the husband gets bored of seeing Taylor over and over. So she goes to her room, but she lives it out. I mean, she sings with her. She does everything she does with her and knows what's going to happen. She goes, now what's going to come up next, Mom? Do you know? And it's like, no, because you don't really know, because it's going to be different.
Wow.
Heather, I am so glad that 10, 20 years from now, you'll be able to have this moment with your daughter. Like, remember when we used to watch Taylor, all of her shows? You guys are like legendary sports fans, watching every game, but now you're watching every Taylor Swift concert. That's amazing.
But see, she's part followed her since she was young. She's 23 now.
Yeah.
But she's followed her when Taylor first came about. And, I mean, she's just been there every
beautiful.
step of the way.
That's great. Well, Heather, I'm glad that you called in to share this great story with you and your daughter. You have a terrific week and happy holidays to you and your family, all right?
You too. Be safe. and
Bye,
be well.
Heather.
You too,
Bye.
Heather.
You know, something I was reading about recently for those who have attended these shows and these diehard Swifties. It's kind of like going to an NC State game or UNC game where there's like a certain chant or thing that happens every
Right.
home game. You just know the fight song.
Oh, yeah, you got to do
you know the
like
moment,
a study guide
you
before
know
you
the
go.
you know the moment when it's like, and that's a first down. You know what I'm saying? All those things that come along with sporting events. It's the same thing with Taylor Swift concerts where like the audience who really pays attention to Taylor, there's like certain moments throughout the show. It's like, okay, and this is what's about to happen next.
Oh, yeah.
And this
You
is
sing
where we
with her,
sing
you
along
say
to.
it out
And this
loud.
is, I mean, it's just honestly, it's kind of mind blowing when you really think
Well,
about it.
and what I think is so funny is the interaction between like young Swifty and father. Young Swifty not wanting father to embarrass her at the show. Dad, so when this part happens, you have to do this, okay? Because like we can't stick out. I need you to be good at this, Dad.
Aw, it reminds me of the Rocky Horror Picture Show because there's certain things in the Rocky Horror Picture Show that you put the newspaper on your head when it's raining. You throw the rice at the wedding scene. Like, yeah, I love fans like that. It's like a real testament of like how much they love their subject, basically.
Sarah, I love it when you say picture sometimes because that's when your Carolina comes out. That's when
What
your
did I say?
I grew up on Carolina Beach comes out.
What did I say?
Rocky Horror Picture. You say picture.
Oh,
you
do I?
You say picture sometimes. Instead
Rocky
of,
Horror Picture Show.
Yeah, instead of picture, you say, I'm like, yeah, she lived in North Carolina
I
growing
put
up.
your picture away.